What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the My Team career here in F122. If you missed the last episode, make sure you go check that one out. We had a really good start to the season out at Bahrain. Basically just handed a free 6th place. It was kind of an odd race. The AI were really aggressive towards each other. Max Verstappen caused all sorts of havoc up and down the circuit. And we kind of just slipped in a 6th spot and really ran away with it. So it was some much needed points that are going to go a long way in the season. Because as the season progresses and the top cars get better and better, it's going to be harder to grab those points. So overall, very good start, very happy. Even our second driver placed at a pretty good position. We both started fairly deep in the grid, so to climb all the way back was really exciting. So to start this video off, we are headed out to Jeddah. This is going to be a first time on this circuit. It's a beautiful brand new circuit. And as you can see here, we're just making some quick upgrades. We placed some upgrades last time, so you'll see that front nose should come in just ahead of the race. We did get the improved energy cells in, which is a huge weight reduction upgrade to our chassis. So that's going to be hopefully a pretty big upgrade to bump us up even just a little bit. As you can see on the bottom right, we are about the fourth from the bottom. So we have passed that Haas in the chassis department. And we are going to purchase that weight redistribution upgrade. So hopefully that comes in. I think it's slated to come in after Australia. So just looking through all these upgrades, you know, there's what I mentioned last time in the first video is the big focus we want to do is on the aero and chassis, because even seeing it in Bahrain, yes, we finished 6th. It was kind of a gift that we finished in that position, but the car still didn't feel all that great. So we will purchase that ignition to get a little bit of a power, but the major upgrades we're going to be focusing on are going to be things like this one that finally just came in, the front nose. So being able to turn the car in a little bit more, have it weigh less, because these basic cars that they give you are they're not the greatest vehicles. Like, obviously in past games, I've seen a lot of content creators compare them to the 2021 car. It's just a lot different. So as you can see, as we progress to the race weekend, we're actually second from the bottom now. So Aston Martin, as you can see as we zoom in, have passed us just a little bit. So not the end of the world. We are still, that's fully expected. Again, some of these cars are a lot more wealthier than us. They're playing on higher resource gains. So just doing our best to get as many of those upgrades in as soon as possible to give us the best chance we have to claim any more points. So as we hop into our first qualifier for this race, you'll see that this is our second lap. The first one, it was just sluggish. This is a street, like this is a fast power circuit. Not the greatest performance in lap 1 to say the least. So we did get bumped down to 22nd, but on this second lap through, we are about 1.2 seconds above that time. So it should bump us up in a respectable position. It is P16. Right now, that's not going to be enough to get us into Qualifier 2. And as you can see, as the qualifiers end for Q1, we're bumped down all the way to 19th. So it's kind of a stark contrast from getting into that top 10 shootout last race.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Bottas, Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Daniel Ricciardo, Ocon, Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, and Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Joe, Sebastian Vettel, and Alex Albon. The owner-driver, Stroll, Latifi, and Liam Lawson. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So a very interesting grid. We have Ferrari in 1-2, Red Bull in 3-4, and then the Mercedes right behind them. So not much change for us. We did start in P19, red lights, and here we go. We got a really quick jump to this race as we dive to the inside and just catch up to P17, P16. As you see, Schumacher's going to close off that inside. So a bit of a collision there with Guan Yu. It was just totally incidental. We tried cutting that corner, bumped us a little bit, and we're off, though. So first lap here, going for the inside, we'll overtake Schumacher. So it's just going to be a nice, steady race again. As we saw in that quick qualifier, unfortunately, the car just didn't hold up on these long, straight circuits. We got bumped down, but it's a decent start. As you see, we did manage to gain 3 spots there. We're now behind Tsunoda, and there is a nice little wide range of cars. It's a big train. As you see, Schumacher does get the elbows out a little bit, and he's going to bump into me that time, and I almost swerve into the wall. So lucky, again, even right there, just the tires not fully warmed up. We did have that formation lap, but I just felt there was a little bit of oversteer coming out of those corners, a little bit of contact with Schumacher, but all in all, now we have a train in front of us and behind us. As you see, the Williams car of Albon actually pushing us a little bit here. So even though they're the bottom of the R&D chart, they're actually showing some pretty quick car maneuvers right there. As you see, he tries to swing to the inside, and we do an okay job just closing it off. And now ahead of us, you'll see Schumacher, Tsunoda, Guan Yu, and Gasly all up in front of us. They're all within a second of us. So it's a very, very tight, from about 10th position down to 22. It's very tight. As you see Liam Lawson on the leaderboard, our teammate also bumping up into position 20. And you can see he's kind of getting wedged out behind Albon and Vettel, who are battling it out just behind us there. So now that the dust is settled, lap down, you'll see Carlos Sainz is actually up in the top pole. Behind him is his teammate Charles Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell, and Lewis Hamilton has actually fallen all the way down to 7th. So it's a pretty chaotic start to this race here at Jeddah. And it's a beautiful circuit. It's one of my favorite. Like I said, it's fairly new. As you see, Alex Albon will actually pull that Williams car a little bit too wide, hit that curb, and you'll see Vettel swing to the outside, and he will get the racing line to pass up into 18th position. So our teammate now, Liam Lawson, as we head on to his point of view here, is just doing what he can to stay in that gap. It's a tight race, but back behind us. So going to be a lot of leaderboard changes. It's going to be a very exciting start. The first 5 laps, trust me, it gets chaotic. You're not going to want to miss this as we look at Carlos Sainz out in front with his teammate Charles Leclerc. So Ferrari having a really hot start to this season. The car is looking phenomenal. It's looking fast. It's looking sharp. So far, no blunders on the pit decision, so hopefully that stays it. As you see, Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Hamilton, and then even the 2 McLarens, they're doing a great job early. They were really, really about mid-tier on that chart, so doing a great job just holding that 7th and 9th position. Bottas, again, the man is doing wondrous things here early. It was very unfortunate that, if you remember in the first video, his car was forced to retire due to engine problems. But up until that point, up until about lap 18 or whenever that happened, he was near the top of the leaderboard, making all sorts of maneuvers. As you see him swing to the outside with a burst of speed behind that slipstream of Hamilton, and he's going to swing to the outside and look to make a play on Lando Norris. But unfortunately, as Lando goes and just squeezes Hamilton at the outside, he is forced to stay behind. But Bottas in his Alfa Romeo is looking like a dominant car here early to start. Again, they are also mid-tier on that R&D chart. To see him pushing inside the top 10 and above is wonderful for this team. So you see Lando making a play on the former champion, Lewis Hamilton, who just tries to get that racing line, but that McLaren, as I mentioned, is looking very fast, and just up the road, Hamilton will have that racing line, so he squeezes ahead as we take an inside look at Hamilton. It's a very cool angle here. You'll see his helmet. But doing an okay job. Again, Lewis kind of struggled in the first race, was kind of in this position, 6th, 7th, 8th, managed to try and just squeeze his way up just to even get a podium. But we'll go back to our race for now. Again, those are guys ahead of us. This is our race. A beautiful aerial shot of this Jeddah circuit. It's one of my favorite. You're going to hear me say that a couple times. It's just beautiful. It's a nice, long, straight circuit. Not a lot of turns and a couple chicanes here and there, but just look at the views that you get out here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's absolutely stunning. And you can see, as we approach this final corner of lap 3, the gap between us and probably about 10th or even 9th there is very minimal. It's all within a second or two. So as long as we can stay behind the slipstream, DRS is now activated. You see the tail will just open up there. The back wing and we will slip to the inside, and we catch Schumacher sleeping. So with a burst of that DRS, a little bit of ERS, we managed to slip up back into position 16. And as I was mentioning, as long as we can stay on this train, stay within that DRS zone, we are going to have an okay shot at passing some of these guys down the stretch. This is a marathon, not a sprint. It is 25 laps of this really long circuit. We just need to do our best, because as you can see, Tsunoda is not much far off. He's still less than a second at 7/10. And on every corner, we seem to be gaining, or that one we lost just a little bit, but we're doing an okay job as we go back to the top of the leaderboard on lap 4 near. Charles Leclerc has passed his teammates, so the man from Monaco doing a wonderful job to slip into that first position of gear again here in race week of number 2. So great to see that Ferrari is starting off so strong. You'll see Verstappen tight there in 3rd place, trying to put the pressure on Carlos Sainz, but right now this man is on a mission. We'll switch back to our POV. Now we are just doing our best to defend that Haas car of Schumacher. It is much higher than us on the R&D, and they're just flying through, but again, just holding all the proper race lines, doing our best to not overthink these corners and just maintain this position, because again, we are still a little over a second now, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, there's about 6 cars ahead of us, as you'll see Schumacher swing the inside, and this time we just pinch him off almost a little bit. It is a little bit of contact, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. Schumacher almost looked like he took that corner way too aggressively, tried to pinch the inside, as we'll slow it down and have another look. I gave him lots of room there, but as we come in the corner, I didn't see him, and he tries to slip on off the circuit on that curb to try and pass us, and he loses his front wing. So a little bit of incidental contact. I didn't even see him in that blind spot, and he just tries to go over that curb to take that very aggressive inside line, and he lost his front end plate as a result of that. So unfortunately, he'll have to pit early. As you now see, Max Verstappen challenging that second spot, trying to force Carlos Sainz out of that second place. And Carlos Sainz doing a great job, and as you can see right behind him is George Russell, and Sergio Perez are now slipping in. It is a 4-man battle here for second position. As you'll see, Charles Leclerc will get about a second, like 1 second, maybe 2/10 of another second in up ahead of them, as these two guys are squabbling it out. And Verstappen now trying to get inside, trying to force Carlos Sainz out of it, and he'll slip into second for just a moment, but I believe Carlos Sainz has a really good slipstream here. They're going to be nearly side by side going down this very long stretch, heading into the last few turns, and you'll see Sergio Perez and George Russell are neck and neck behind them. Oh, this is a wonderful little battle. This is similar to what we see. And George Russell, the man from Britain, is slipping on the inside in that Mercedes cars, and he'll double overtake. And wow, just like that, George Russell is up in his second spot. As you see the two, oh, that's a beautiful shot. You'll see George Russell and the 2 Red Bulls and the other Ferrari just neck and neck, 3 wide going into the chicane. Oh my word, it's wonderful battling from the AI here. Again, it's great to see that with these new patches, the teams are just getting more aggressive. And you'll see, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, it was actually Verstappen who locked up on the right side, almost forced Carlos Sainz off the track. And with that opportunity, you just see George Russell slip to the inside and perform a double overtake. It was a beautiful, beautiful move. But as we go back to our race, this is what I'm talking about. Just managed to stay behind Yuki Tsunoda, and we're going to go to the outside, nearly make contact with Guan Yu Zhu, but we will maintain that line. And with a great exit, we're going to slip up past Tsunoda into 15th spot. We are now behind Pierre Gasly and Guan Yu, who are battling it out in the chicane, and we're going to try and make a play on Pierre Gasly here coming out of it. We will. Oh my word, the car is showing great speed here as we get a perfect, I say perfect exit on that chicane, and we just slip above both of those AlphaTauri cars. My oh my, so all of a sudden, starting near the bottom of the grid, we are now in P14. As you can see at the bottom, Liam Lawson, because of the issue with Mick Schumacher's wing, he slips up into a couple spots as well. So as long as we maintain this, we should be able to put pressure on Guan Yu. As you can see, his back tires swerve out just a little bit there, a bit of oversteer. We'll just go inside of our cockpit. As you see, Gasly and Tsunoda are falling back a little bit, so potentially battling each other, losing some time on us. But we're going to just, with a burst of speed, we are now all over the gearbox of Guan Yu, less than 1/10 of a second, and we are going to make a play on this quick turn, go a little bit wide, but we managed to get back, not lose control, and now we're in P13. So where I didn't think this was possible, we have now bumped up into position 13. And that P10, that single point, that single constructor point is within grasp, as Ocon is not that far ahead. As you see now, Pierre Gasly's tire will lock up. We go a little bit wide as Guan Yu puts the pressure on us. Oh my word, tires are locking up everywhere as people are just trying to do a little bit too much. As you see that Alfa Romeo car swing to the outside, we're just gonna have to give way to him because he's in that much faster car. we go to the outside here. Unfortunately, Yuki has made that aggressive play to the inside. He now overtakes us as well. So this is going to be a dog battle. Yeah, we'll overtake them here and there, but with the DRS and just the drag that these cars get, the AI get, they are easily able to overtake us on some of these straightaways. So now the task here is just stay behind Sonoda, get that slipstream, get that DRS when it activates, and do our best to overtake them and just put pressure on them to make mistakes. If we can get out of ahead, we can defend. As we cut that wall just a little bit, it was actually a pretty aggressive turn into there, but now as we go here, we are just inside that DRS zone. So once we exit this, we'll get those straightaways, try and go to the outside, forcing Sonoda as he goes a little bit wide there. And now we're going to pressure him from the inside. So as he goes, we do a nice little switchback, get to the inside. And as we go into this chicane, we're going to try and make the play. He clips the wall, nearly bumps into us. So I'm not sure if Sonoda may have got some wing damage on that as he tried to take that corner a little wide, and he will bump. Yeah, he's missing parts of his front end plate there, so a little bit of damage might force him to go into the pit. We sneak ahead of the two AlphaTauri cars, and this is just a wonderful battle that has lasted about 3 laps now. As you can see, Sonoda is still putting the pressure on us on the inside, and we go a little bit wide on that one as well, so gotta be careful because some of these curbs in this F122 game are very dangerous. If you go over them too much, you could cause some floor damage. But right now, we're just looking to squeeze out Pierre Gasly, and now we are just 3 abreast here with the two AlphaTauri cars as we go into this final turn. Gasly has to squeeze out as he doesn't want to make contact with the wall, and we're still ahead of them. Whew. It's a great start to this race. We are now nearly halfway, as you will see. Unfortunately for Sonoda, when he did bump into that wall, he did make contact with it and will have to be forced to pit early. So a couple early pits by Schumacher and Sonoda as we'll see him come in. They should have that front wing. They do. It's ready for him to switch. So unfortunately, a little bit of over-aggressive play forces him into that as we'll swap up to lap 12 now. It is our turn to pit, and you'll see Gasly, Albon, they are all pitting behind me. This is a very crucial pit stop for the team. Remember, we are entering this we were 15th. Kevin Magnussen's ahead of us. And as we try, oh no, it's a bobble with that back left tire. The team, and unfortunately because of that mistake, we have to force we just get held up in the pit, and you'll see Lando Norris, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Schumacher, Magnussen, everybody is coming out in front of us. And as we come into the pit, it's actually Sonoda who early pitted just behind us now. So we are all the way at the bottom as we go a lap forward. We gained a couple spots back as the rest of the field do have to pit. We are now behind our teammate Liam Lawson, who is 6 positions below us. So that horrible pit stop right now, as you see Lando Norris bobble a little bit, nearly spit out over that curb. So we will pass him. So we're back in 17th behind our teammate. But really, it's just such an unfortunate scenario. I mean, when you have a really long pit stop, that pit stop was about 5.5 seconds, have to let 3 cars pass. Now it's just hopefully you can just continue racing, not make mistakes, get in those zones, and just try and pass. I mean, we are behind Lawson here. We are going to be activating that DRS after this chicane here. So hopefully we should be able to overtake him with no problem. But now we're just forced to chase those guys of Albon, Gasly, Vettel, Guan Yu. These are all cars that, aside from Alexander Albon, they're all much faster than us. This is going to be a tall task just to even get back close to that position 14th, position 13th that we are in. As you can see now, we have closed the gap behind Liam Lawson to about half a second. So with this DRS, and I might say quite a bit of ERS, we should be able to pass him, whether it's on this straight or coming out that last quarter going in lap 14. But you can see those 3 cars ahead of us. Albon, Gasly, Vettel, they are all battling each other not far ahead. So as long as they maintain that squabbling, as long as they're battling it out, we should be able to catch them as we swing to the outside. Thankfully, Lawson's going to let us pass with very little contest. He knows that we have that faster angle going into this sharp chicane. Now, as I was mentioning, Gasly, Albon, and Vettel are all battling it out, so we are now right behind them. And if we play our cards right over the next couple laps, we should be able to at least make some plays, make some attacks, pick the right time to do it, and potentially, just potentially, squeeze back into that P13. But it's going to take some excellent driving here. As you can see, we are just trying to hit these corners not too fast, just stay behind that slipstream. Vettel seems to have pulled off a little bit from these guys as Gasly looks like he's just trying to do everything he can to defend Albon as he swings to the outside and looks to make a play. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't get the speed as we almost crashed into him. Try to swing to the outside, but this is an opportunity right here. Coming into these last few turns before the straightaway, we are right behind him. We are right there. 1/10 of a second behind him. We are going to swing to the outside, look to make a play going into this corner. We will overtake Albon. So step 1 complete. That is 1 of 3 people that we have the opportunity to overtake here, deep into the second stint of this race. And really, it is just magical racing from this point on. We have so many good moments coming up. As you can see, unfortunately, Liam Lawson trying to make the same type of attack on Alexander Albon. He just gets shut down as we go inside here. And just on that exit, he's a little bit slow. He's not as quick as Albon. Almost made that overtake before the turn, gets shut down, and now he's just trying to play catch-up, so he's doing an okay job. He is in that slipstream. He's about 0.2 of a second, but he's not really going to gain much as he locks up a little bit there, and now he's forced to defend Lando Norris, so just a little bit of unfortunate. As you see, Sergio Perez, oh my word, another Red Bull engine malfunction. So it just seems like these Red Bull powertrains up and down the leaderboard. Now it's the actual Red Bull team. Sergio Perez with a puff of smoke at the back of his engine. Oh, and you hate to see it as he's done such a good job to hang on to that 4th position from George Russell. But he will be forced to retire. So with Sergio Perez retiring, we're just going to gain a free position here and jump into position 14. All in all, now we are right on the heels of Pierre Gasly. So similar to the couple laps before where we passed Alexander Albon, we are now within 0.2 of a second behind Pierre Gasly. And as we pass into this final turn of lap 15 going to lap 16, it's the same sort of scenario where we pass our teammate Lawson. We just get that slipstream, and with DRS activated, it should be an easy overtake here. As we're closing the gap and looking to make a play, we'll swing to the inside. But unfortunately, we just say, you know what? A little bit of sporadic driving by Pierre Gasly, nearly collide into him as he slams on the brake and brake checks us. We just say, you know what? The opportunity will come. There is still lots of time in this race. Again, thinking marathon. We do not have to overcommit to something that is going to cause us to lose our position on this grid that we've worked hard from getting back after that horrible pit stop. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel a little bit out in the front now, but we are still within at 0.2 of a second on Pierre Gasly. So it's our opportunity. It will come on these straights. He's doing a great job as we look to slip to the inside again, but now it looks like Vettel actually has taken this turn on lap 17 a little bit slow, so we fast forward a little bit. Next lap, we look to make a beautiful exit, and we are just challenging Gasly as we'll look to the inside, make a little bit of contact with the wall, thankfully no wing damage, and we will slip into position 13, so all of a sudden, we are back to the position we were before that horrible pit stop, and now we are putting the pressure on Sebastian Vettel. So unfortunately for us, Guan Yu Zhu is nowhere to be found. He has managed to slip so far ahead of us after that beautiful pit stop by the Alfa Romeo car. And as we look back, Alexander Albon is now pressuring Gasly, so I'm not sure if Gasly's having some car issues because we were able to catch him no problem. He did have some DRS for a while with Vettel, but now it looks like the Williams car, who theoretically is the worst car on the circuit, is putting the pressure on the Frenchman. So I'm not sure if Gasly's just having a bit of issue, whether he has some power issues. It doesn't look like he's overly slow. We didn't hear anything from our mechanics to suggest that he's having some sort of issues and will be slow. But as we go to the inside, first of all, I must say the Williams car on 2022 looks absolutely beautiful. This dark blue, the car looks awesome. Hopefully they can get back into a position, whether it's in our game or in real life, where they're actually a threat again. It might be a couple of years off, who knows, but this car looking beautiful as he's looking to put the pressure on Gasly. He'll swing to the outside, and now he's looking to make that play, but Gasly does have a better angle, and as long as he makes this corner, yeah, he does. He'll make the corner beautifully, and he'll just slip back ahead. So Albon doing what he can to just try and gain that position. But give credit to Gasly. He's holding it off as we now are entering lap 18. We are right behind Sebastian Vettel, looking to make an outside play with a burst of speed, and we will. We'll catch Vettel braking a little bit early, and then all of a sudden, there you go. We are up into position 12, so with 8 laps left, including this one, we now found ourselves in a position to potentially, with some clear air in front of us, make some gains on Guan Yu. So all of a sudden, we'll switch up to lap 19 now. So with a handful of laps left, we saw this in Bahrain. A Red Bull putting pressure on Charles Leclerc and gaining control of the lead here. But Leclerc will do a great job here as he'll just gain it back for a moment. Verstappen, the wild man he is, will just make that corner very fearful. No fear at all, as he almost looks like he doesn't brake at all. Now Charles Leclerc, the man again, is finding himself in second position. So back in Bahrain, he lost in lap 20. He lost first place from Sergio Perez and had to be forced to gain it back. And now here in Jeddah, Max Verstappen showing his muscles and gaining position of Charles Leclerc. Oh, it's a wonderful battle here as we'll switch back, and there's just up and down the leaderboard, you see the two Alpines battling out. Fernando Alonso showing Ocon how it's done. The old-timer just doing what he can to maintain position 5. He is leagues behind George Russell, 10 seconds behind him. But it's cool to see as you see Lewis Hamilton just can't seem to find his footing here early in the season, and he is stuck in 7th position with Bottas and Ricciardo hot on his heel. So for some reason, while Russell is looking like he's in an okay position, where you'd expect him somewhere around 4th, maybe even that podium position, Hamilton's just struggling as we go back. Lap 20 now. Beautiful aerial shot here of our car. We have slipped well ahead of Vettel. We are now 1.5 seconds. And if you can see in the top corner there, just on the last corner of this lap, you will see Guan Yu. We didn't see him for a long time there. He is now only 7 seconds. Remember, that's important because before he was 9-10 seconds ahead of us. So being 7 seconds with that clean air, we are gaining him as you now switch back to Lewis Hamilton. And he is just trying to pass Ocon, but it is so odd to see the Alpine just holding their ground and gaining that momentum and that pace ahead of Hamilton. So something just isn't clicking for him. But as you see, I've mentioned him before, the man Bottas, his former teammate, Hamilton's former driving partner, is just putting the pressure on it. As you see Daniel Ricciardo looking to make some miraculous plays later on. And lap 22 now, Leclerc, that might be his final attempt to gain the inside play, and he does go for it. But Verstappen just shuts it down with a great exit on that chicane. So if this man wants to win his 2nd straight race, he's going to have to put the pedal to the metal now, floor it, and see if he can gain on Max Verstappen. We'll jump back to the middle of the pack here. So this is just up ahead of us. We'll see Kevin Magnussen in the Haas car putting pressure on, but this is important because as he's putting pressure on these guys and he's battling it out and forcing these guys to defend, this gives us time to slip up with Guan Yu Zhu and just try and gain any momentum on this guy. And he's doing a great job in this Haas car, putting the pressure on Ricciardo. And this is now similar to the beginning of the race where there's about 5 or 6 cars battling it out. That goes all the way up to Fernando Alonso, so that's 5th place to 10th. These guys are putting the pressure on. But as we switch back to our point of view, Kevin Magnussen is going to have car troubles. This is not good for him. But shortly down the road, we will hear another very unfortunate message from our mechanic.
They're retiring from the race.
And there you have it. Unfortunately, Magnussen's puff of smoke at the back of his engine. He is forced retired. So why this is important is you'll see Guan Yu pass him for 10th position. We are not that far off from Guan Yu now. With 3.4 seconds, the yellow flag causing him to slow down a little bit. As we round this corner going into lap 23, we are now 3 seconds behind Guan Yu up into 11th. So at the beginning of the race, if we were in position 19th, we are up in 11th now with 1.8 seconds behind Guan Yu in lap 24. So with 2 laps left, we're doing everything we can. We are flooring it. We are driving flawlessly because that one constructor point is all of a sudden within our grasp. We can taste it. We can smell it. We see it. We know what we need to do. We're just putting everything we can have into this race to try and gain on him. And as we go into lap 25, this may be the best lap coming up. But as we go to the top, not only us that's racing it, Charles Leclerc is doing what he can to get back into that position. He is driving wonderfully as he looks to switch to the inside. But Max Verstappen is just shutting it down. So 2 tenths. It's 2 tenths separating Charles Leclerc from his 2nd win of the season. But it is the man, the reigning champion, who's doing a wonderful job shutting it down. We'll switch back, and as we approach lap 25, it is now barely any time, 1.3 seconds as we get into this long stretch. All ERS is going to be deployed at this point. We just need to get inside that DRS. If we can get inside that window going into this last lap, we can pass him. This is it. This is what everything has led up to. And we're just going to let this entire lap play out. So as we switch to lap 25, 9/10 of a second behind Guan Yu, I'm thinking in my head, 1 lap, 1 beautifully raced lap, our best time yet. We can squeeze this guy out, and there is a chance we can slip into that 10th position and gain a much needed point for Spider Racing, for our team. Two races in a row where I did not think either were possible, and now we have a chance to get points in both of them. So as you can see, we're just taking everything so fast, really not trying to make any mistakes, but not ease up as we go into this beautiful turn here. And now we are right hot on the heel, so we are well inside that DRS zone as we are 0.2 of a second. Guan Yu taking that a little conservatively. Now, as we head into this final chicane before the final stretches, you will see us hot on the heels once again. DRS is going to be activated after these last little stretch here. It is open, ERS on. We have 13% left battery. It is going to take everything we possibly have, as we're not really gaining on him, but he's not gaining any on of us. So it's all going to come down to this. We are going to have to make the move here to cement what could be our best lap ever. As you see, those are our best laps. Sector 1, Sector 2, both green. As we go into those last, and we will make the ditch effort to swing to the inside, a little bit of contact, but it is a clean overtake. Oh my word, going into the last turn over Guan Yu. We will take another look at this as we just fearlessly brake late, go to the inside. He will bump our tire just a little bit, as he may not have seen that coming, thinking he is in the clear. And our car, Spider Racing, swings to the inside. Checkered flag, and we will gain that 10th position. Oh my word, that is the best lap I have ever raced on this game. And oh my word, well-deserved driver of the day from us. 10th position from 19th on the grid. Oh, I'm out of breath, but what an exciting race here in Jeddah. Beautiful day for the Saudia Grand Prix. And there you have it.
Another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Max Verstappen, the Red Bull, has managed to hang on, steal that lead, steal the win away from Charles Leclerc. But all in all, Ferrari finishing 2 and 3. They're having a great start this season. Max Verstappen getting Red Bull back on top of the leaderboard. But all in all, P10 finish by us. I'll take that every single day. I hope you guys enjoyed the race here out in Jeddah. We'll be back next time for our race in Australia. Looking forward to it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your race in Jeddah went. This is a very fun circuit, beautiful circuit. Looking forward to the rest of this season. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and we'll catch you back here next.
Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile,